the United States in a colorful ceremony outside Washington.
Lawlessness, violence, disease, joblessness, and hopelessness. With unity, we can do great things, important things. We can right wrongs. We can put people to work in good jobs. We can teach our children in safe schools. We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America.
Joe Biden becoming the 46th president of the United States. Bodies of 6 individuals have been discovered dumped in Arabal area in Baringo County, about 100 kilometers from where a banditry attack took place earlier this week. The yet-to-be-identified victims' bodies, which had gunshot wounds, have been taken to Baringo Referral Hospital in Kabarnet as police launch investigations into the matter.
Barely a day after Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i issued a crackdown on bandits who murdered Senior General Service Unit officer in Kapedo, 6 individuals have been found dead in Mairo Arabal in Baringo sub-county. The 6 unidentified bodies had gunshot wounds and were discovered about 100 kilometers from where a banditry attack took place earlier this week. Reports indicate that the 6 were picked from Chemolingot, Tiati sub-county, whisked away and found killed hours later. The bodies were taken to Baringo Referral Hospital in Kabarnet as police launch investigations into the matter. It is suspected that their deaths might be as a result of the ongoing security operation to search for bandits who have been carrying out banditry in the region. On Sunday, a senior GSU officer was shot dead in Ameyan area in the border of Baringo, Turkana counties as he returned from a food distribution exercise in Kapedo. Every contingent of police have been deployed to the area to flush out bandits who have been behind the insecurity in Baringo and Turkana counties. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News. Well, professionals and political leaders from Marsabit, Garissa and Wajir counties have come to defense of Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuru Yatani over claims of involvement in inter-clan conflict in northern Kenya. The leaders claim it was unfortunate that some of their colleagues were using the conflict to advance selfish political ambitions instead of thinking of those suffering.
Professionals and political leaders from northern Kenya have condemned allegations made by a section of leaders from Isiolo and Marsabit counties trying to tie Treasury and Planning Cabinet Secretary Ukuru Yatani to inter-clan conflicts in the region.
It's very unfortunate for politicians to spoil the name of career civil servants.
The root cause should be found, and because they don't want the root cause to be found, they know that if the root cause will be found, they will be in problems. Now they come up with other issues.
The leaders, led by Lysamis Member of Parliament Abele Malimo, Wajir West MP Ahmed Mohammed and Dadabs Mohammed Daiye, said those trying to soil the name of Yatani are not sincere and should instead join those seeking to find lasting solution to the conflict.
That position the county government of Marsabit, including the governor himself, have stated yesterday is a reckless statement. It is not the statement that is with the Marsabit people. That is his individual plus the individual leaders who are with him, who accompanied him.
I have actually ever met Ukuru once since he was made a minister. I don't know him. He cannot influence my people to fight Boronas. So let them stop dragging other people's names into this business. Let us resolve this conflict as leaders we can.
Because the CS has clear terms of reference, and the appointing authority, of course, knows what the terms of reference, And it's very unfortunate for a leader to say that the CS is involved in those issues.
They say now is not the time of blame games, but for leaders to sit down and address the real issue.
As leaders seated here before you, and leaders from this region and the neighboring counties, we therefore demand that these leaders should be held accountable.
So we are willing on our part to engage with our colleagues, to go to the ground, to talk to our people so that peace comes back. We are not in any way, we do not want to be associated with clashes and those things. We want peace.
While calling on the government to deal with insecurity in the region, they said leaders should be peace envoys and not conveyors of hate.
Juakali artisans contracted by the government to deliver desks to schools are set to receive their pay within this week. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has at the same time said most schools across the country have received 100% delivery of the furniture. These, as the Education CS banned small bottle sanitizers among learners.
As the resumption of schools enters its third week, the government is expressing satisfaction in the way stakeholders have supported the exercise. Cabinet Secretary for Education Professor George Magoha, who spoke today after inspecting learning operations at Our Lady of Fatima Secondary School in Nairobi's Kariobangi North area, revealed that the government-sponsored schools desk provision project has been a success.
Most of the counties are already approaching 100%. In fact, I will give you the list of the ones that have acquired 100%. But as far as Nairobi County is concerned, every school, both public and primary, got desks. 70 for the primary school and 50 for secondary school.
Magoha, while dismissing claims that the government has delayed payments for the desks, revealed that the Juakali artisans contracted to deliver the desks will receive payment for the same within this week.
Payment has been made and it's continuing to be made through M-Pesa, which means the artisans are getting money direct into their phones. For Nairobi, we are at 86%. The other 14% is being processed and should be paid by Friday.
The CS at the same time added that most schools have managed the COVID-19 health protocols, but warned that small bottle sanitizers should not be allowed in learning institutions, citing safety reasons.
All learning institutions have hand washing points. You have seen with your own eyes, I washed my hands when I came here, and the liquid soap was a good one. But I want to take this opportunity to warn the nation very clearly and to tell the teachers that they must not allow small bottle sanitizers into schools. If any child has a portable sanitizer, it should be taken and kept and given when the child is leaving the school.
The CS also sounded a warning to school heads against sending learners away from school, saying that the government has released enough funds to ensure learners stayed in class.
The government prioritized education as an important aspect of what it is doing, and as a result, money was released to schools, 4.6 billion to primary and 14.9 billion to secondary school. Because of that, we are implementing His Excellency's directive that no child shall be sent home for school fees.
Professor Magoha also weighed in on the emerging trend of learners' attack on teachers, where he urged parents to instill the much important discipline in their children, saying learners' discipline is a shared responsibility. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Wycliffe Okech.
You're watching Channel 1 News Hour. We are live from Broadcasting House. A short break is well deserved, and thereafter we are back with more stories.
Enda pale kwa Palume. Wakenya. Kari ndio hii. Oh, sorry, kifungu ndio hii kari. Ni furaha ile niko nayo. Msichali kete. Wacha tupeane mali ya wenyewe.
Ni vizuri tupe watu vitu zao.
Uchukue mali yako. Kuja uchukue mali yako. Hiyo ndio shamra shamra.
Hiyo ndio shamra shamra. ya quick bid.
Umeona? Umeamini?
Nimeamini kabisa.
Hii inaitwa nini?
Hii inaitwa kifungu.
Na hii inaitwa nini?
Toyota Probo.
Toyota Pro. Mpatie kifungu hiyo.
Shika ingine. Ndio ya kuendesha. Onesha.
Ndio
Na wewe unaitwa nani?
Naitwa Steven.
Steven nani?
Kahuho.
Nakwambia. Uliwekelea bid ya ngapi brother?
1772 peke yake.
We. Na ndio amejishindia Pro Box. Sasa hii Pro Box inakusaidia aje?
Itakuwa inanisaidia kazi yangu ya kuuza matunda.
Unaambia je watu wa kwenye nyumbani ambao watakuona na hii?
Wote wacheze na quick bid. Ukweli.
Ni ukweli.
Kabisa.
Sasa tufanyie vizuri. Ingia upate mizigo yako bana. Ingia utoshee ukae usikie. Inakutosha sawa? Sisi tulikwambia ni aje? Bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya chini. Bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya chini.
Jiunga na Quick Bid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. Quick Bid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Hati milioni nayo ya kuolewa na wewe.
Wataka mambo? Basi tutakupasha.
Muone sura kama mbuzi ambaye amekarangwa kichwa chake na wewe. Nakwambia omba sana nisikuone na nisikupate. Kwa sababu utajuta siku ulozaliwa.
Na si umbea, la hasha.
Afwe mwanamke usipende kuingilia mambo asokuhusu. Uza mambo ya kuko wewe dodo.
Wewe usinyoshe kidole wewe.
Ni yale yanayojiri hapa mtaani.
Fanya hivi. Jifiche. Hapana sitajificha wewe.
Afadhali nakuomba.
Wacha akuje tumenyana.
Fanya hivi, sikiza bwana.
Opa nani?
Na pangu mume wangu.
Welcome back. You're watching Channel 1 News Hour. The Ministry of Health is not clear on when the country will receive its first doses of the COVID-19 vaccines. Earlier this month, the ministry had promised that the country had ordered 24 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine that were to arrive in the country by the second week of February, but has now shifted the arrival date to April after receiving funding from the World Bank.
Kenya could wait longer for the arrival of the COVID-19 vaccine, with the Ministry of Health now ruling out its earlier promise of the jab arriving in the country in the second week of February. The ministry now saying the earliest possible the vaccine will arrive in the country will be April, after receiving funding by the World Bank and assurance from the African Union that has ordered 270 million doses under the African Vaccine Acquisition Task Team from Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca.
We are looking at being ready as a country by around April. But again, leveraging on our existing infrastructure that the minister has just talked about, it is also possible that we may have the vaccine even sooner in the country. But we are well positioned right now, and we should all be comfortable to know that the vaccine will be in Kenya very soon.
The ministry is, however, lauding stringent measures put in place to curb the spread of the virus in the country, including the 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew that it says has played a major role in minimizing the infectious rate in the country. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, who was at Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, revealed that the government was not going to ease the measures despite the positivity rate being below 5%.
We intend to keep the current measures that are there. We intend to keep on a very high level of surveillance. We also want to embark on surveillance to find out, and this institution is going to be key to the way we want to go forward, particularly to test our people and find out how many of us would probably have had COVID and not known about it, and therefore we can tell what levels of herd immunity we have developed.
So far, according to the ministry, only one positive case has been reported in schools 3 weeks after learning resumed.
As you know, we reported that we had a case which had, in one of the schools in Nairobi, we isolated the child and tested the entire school, and I'm glad to report that everybody was negative.
During the past 24 hours, the country recorded 136 new COVID-19 cases from 3,787 samples tested. The new cases takes the cumulative positive cases in the country to 99,444.
Today, 136 people have tested positive to the disease out of a sample size of 3,787. That means that our positivity rate is still below 5%. This is a good sign, and we are hoping and praying that this is something that is going to continue.
Kagwe said Nairobi continues to lead in the infection rate with 67 new cases, Homa Bay and Mombasa 11 cases each, Meru 10, Kisumu 8, Kiambu 5, Kilifi 4, Nakuru, Kajiado and Siaya 3 cases each. Over the same period, the country lost 2 patients and recorded 176 recoveries, 162 from the home-based isolation care, while 14 are from various health facilities. Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, the Orange Democratic Movement Party has insisted that it will ensure that the Nairobi Deputy Governor position is a reserve of the party. Speaking at the party's headquarters in Nairobi, ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna was categorical that the party's contribution in running the affairs of the country cannot be ignored. This comes as the party launched preparations for the 2022 general elections.
The race to fill the deputy governor's position in Nairobi County heats up as the Orange Democratic Movement Party pushes for the irreducible minimum in the county leadership.
Everybody is aware that ODM played an instrumental part in pursuance of the handshake in getting Nairobi back on track. The motions to remove Governor Sonko, both the one in February that aborted and the one that succeeded by our majority leader, were moved by members of ODM.
The party now saying that it will front and present its nominee to the Jubilee Party and the County Assembly once the court processes are resolved. The party, which is also targeting to secure the deputy governor position in Nyamira County, is set to forward its nominee to the county governor.
The happenings in Nyamira County Assembly just yesterday, where the Assembly rejected the name of a nominee for deputy governor, is evidence of what happens in the absence of this sort of structured engagement that we want going forward.
This as a section of Ukambani political leaders take sides on the political duel between Deputy President William Ruto and Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka.
Lakini ningeomba, yani nilikuwa nangojea Kalonzo akimalizana na Ruto aseme yake ile amefanya.
2017 Ruto pia alikuwa muungwana kwa Uhuru. Sasa what is now happening now that Ruto wants to be the president of Kenya?
Telling Kalonzo the things that he talked about Kalonzo and to say that those are not true things that he have said.
He is the bona fide leader of the whole Kamba community, and he has been for some time. And I am responding in his defense because what we are hearing is not kind.
This comes as a group of youth in Nakuru County expressed their support for the Building Bridges initiative, attributing their decision to the president's address during a vernacular radio interview.
Na alifanya kuelimisha wachache ambao walimsikiza ama wale wengi walisikiza vile aliwafundisha. Na ukweli ni kwamba kama alivyosema, hii BBI ukiangalia sana ina manufaa mengi sana upande wa watu wa Mlima Kenya. kama vile kiongozi mwenzangu mbali amesema, ni jukumu letu kusoma ile BBI kwanza kabla hujatoa uamuzi.
Tungependa pia gavana wetu wa Nakuru atupe ile empowerment na motivation pia, ndio at least kila mtu pale mashinani aweze kuelewa uzuri wa BBI na aweze kuifahamu.
Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
A former director at the Presidential Strategic Communications Unit, Dennis Njue Itumbi, has filed a fresh petition for the court to allow him play a video clip that confirms a meeting was held to plan the assassination of Deputy President William Ruto. Meanwhile, an ICT manager and his accomplice have been released on a 200,000 shillings cash bail each, with an alternative bond of 500,000 shillings after denying stealing 10 million shillings from the Kenya Police Circle Society.
Dennis Njue Itumbi, a former director at the Presidential Strategic Communication Unit, through his lawyer, is seeking the court's indulgence to play a video clip of a meeting that allegedly planned the assassination attempt of Deputy President William Ruto. The alleged meeting is said to have taken place in a hotel along Thika Road, Nairobi. Itumbi also wants to prove to court that the letter which he was alleged to have authored was already in circulation on social media groups and was only forwarded to him. Itumbi is charged with making a false document without authority and publishing a false statement. Elsewhere, an ICT manager and his accomplice have been released on a 200,000 shillings cash bail each, with an alternative bond of 500,000 shillings after denying stealing 10 million shillings from the Kenya Police Circle Society head office in Ngara, Nairobi. It is alleged that January's Mulwa Muli and Francis Kioko Kidheka on diverse dates between 11th February 2017 and February 26, 2017 at the Kenya Police Circle Society committed an offense of stealing 10,463,622 shillings. For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Well, time now to have a look at the business news, where the annual wild beast spectacle at the Masai Mara National Reserve is facing threats from human encroachment along the migratory corridors. The locals are fencing land along the route in efforts to reduce livestock-wildlife conflict, which could block the migratory route. Here are the details of these and other stories in our business news roundup.
The annual wildebeest migration between July and September at the vast Masai Mara National Reserve attracts thousands of tourists. But the spectacle is at risk as locals fence off land along the migratory corridor, which could affect the movement of the wildebeest.
What is the economic importance of conserving the same, having such a large area and then restricting in terms of development, tourism development? There has to be some justification for that.
Why Serengeti is better than our Masai Mara Game Reserve is simple, because they have not really built a lot of hotels inside Serengeti.
Meanwhile, Kenya and the United Kingdom are in the process of signing supplementary trade agreements to reinforce the trade deals that were sealed last year ahead of Brexit. UK Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs Dominic Raab says among the deals is a 5-year medical partnership and 7.2 billion shillings investment in climate-smart ventures.
The rollout of the vaccine in Kenya to ensure it gets to those who need it just as quickly as we possibly can. And again, this is all part of our new 5-year health partnership, which I will sign today with Cabinet Secretary.
Elsewhere, Housing Finance Group has signed a deal with Britam Holdings that will see the group receive a 1 billion shillings Tier 2 capital injection as part of the broader strategy to power its banking strategy. The cash will be used in boosting HF SME lending as well as end-user mortgage finance.
What this capital does, it enables us to accelerate this journey. It enables us now to get deeper into financing of SMEs, for instance. We've got certain chosen segments that we have identified.
And Kenya Power has rolled out a 1.25 billion shillings smart metering project that will offer customers real-time information on electricity consumption and billing. The World Bank-funded project offers smart meters that will facilitate two-way communication between Kenya Power and the customer.
Towards the beginning of March, I think this will be a problem of the past, because the line between Olkaria, Lesos, Kisumu, terminating at Kisumu, will have been completed by Ketraco, so that we make sure that we stabilize power in this region.
Finally, the private sector has welcomed the application of continental free trade, noting that the decision would boost inter-Africa trade. Speaking in Mombasa during the lighting of Africa Trade Torch to mark the implementation of Africa Free Trade, Nairobi Security Exchange Chairman Kiprono Kitoni said free movement of goods and services across Africa would drive economic growth on the continent through provision of markets.
And the signing and the implementation of the Continental Free Trade Agreement is also a vindication of the investments that the government of Kenya has made in infrastructure.
Benson Drioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
On to football now, where Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago has urged the national government to ensure the construction works for the Kipchoge Keino Stadium are completed as soon as possible, having stalled for more than 5 years. Mandago says the ground should be completed first, despite the constructing of the High Altitude Training Center in Chagaya.
Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago wants the construction works for Kipchoge Keino Stadium to be completed as soon as possible. He says the facility should be complete to ensure the Olympic trials are held in Kipchoge Stadium, adding that it has taken too long to be completed. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics will be held from the 23rd July to August 8th in Japan.
It is our hope that Sports Kenya and the National Department of Sports are going to complete Kipchoge Keino Stadium so that we can have a repeat of mini Olympics. Last time we were in Rio in advance. We are hoping that we are going to also be in Tokyo in advance through the mini trials. Because we know in terms of athletics and track events, those who win here, the chances of them winning in Tokyo are very high.
Meanwhile, Football Kenya Federation officials inspected the Kinoru Stadium with the aim to give it a green light to start hosting Premier League matches.
Today tulikuwa tunakuja kuinspect how far kazi ya Kinoru imefika, and so far we are pleased with what is going on, apart from some few issues which we'll write in our report and send it to the county. Then hizo marekebisho zikifanywa will be good to go to host both FKF Premier League and international matches.
According to the inspection report, the stadium is almost complete, but a lot is yet to be done to make it a secure ground for both local and international matches.
Well, at this point we come to the end of Channel 1 News Hour. Remember, the Chance Championship continues right here. And tonight we have Zimbabwe versus Burkina Faso, which is coming up in less than 30 minutes from now. The weather report is also coming up shortly. From me and the rest of the team, thank you very much indeed for your time. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye for now.
Good evening. My name is Irene Nchuma Odem. This is Channel 1 Weather Updates. It's one of those nights that the whole country has been covered with partly cloudy conditions, except for the Lake Basin region and western parts of the country, where a few areas in Migori and Narok are experiencing showers accompanied by thunderstorms. This, as Kitale and Narok are the coldest towns tonight. Temperatures stand at 12 degrees Celsius. Lamu is the warmest. Temperatures stand at 25 degrees Celsius, and that is how the night will be. Tomorrow it will mainly be sunny in the country, right from the northeastern, the northwestern, the Lake Basin region, the western sector, the capital, and counties around the region. Equally at the coastal strip, it will mainly be sunny. In the afternoon, we'll see scattered wet conditions across the country. There'll be showers in Wajir and Garissa. There'll be a few wet conditions at the coastal strip. The capital will mainly be sunny, but counties around the region, including Nyeri and Meru, will experience showers during the afternoon hours. The Lake Basin region will mainly be sunny, but a few areas in Kisii, Kericho, and Kitale, equally in Narok, there'll be showers accompanied by thunderstorms. Let's now cross over to temperatures, and this is it. The capital will experience highs of 26 and lows of 15 degrees Celsius. For you in Kisumu, be expecting highs of 27 and lows of 18 degrees Celsius. Let's now cross the borders and have a look at the international forecast. Good night and a blessed day ahead.
Vera Beauty College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru.